cultivating a beneficial mindset. So, this is a war between positivity and negativity, and our thoughts have energy. Our thoughts are energy. Each one, you can think of them as carrying charges, positive or negative. So your thoughts have the ability to build up or to take away from, to detract or to add to. So, what sort of thoughts do you have in your brain? What do you have swirling around in there? If you're to be honest, would you say you got a lot of positivity, or would you say you have some negativity in your thought process? Our bodies are 85% nitrogen, oxygen, and 15% carbon dioxide. So if we have too much carbon dioxide in the body, then it's going to shut down our system. It's going to put us into cardiac arrest. I'm sorry, it's going to put us into a host of problems. Eventually, we could actually die from having too much carbon dioxide in the system. And you'll see this 85-15% rule persist in many things inside of the body and in nature. But when it comes to our mind, it's no different. Your mental capacity, your thinking has to be 85% in the positive, in the upbuilding. And this is where we come to the concept of beneficial thoughts. So positivity is not just about saying things that are so-called positive, although that could be good. When we talk about positivity, I'm talking about what is beneficial to you. What is beneficial to you, even if what is beneficial to you isn't necessarily true. And this is well illustrated in the situation where you're with a loved one and they've been hurt bad or they're very sick. Imagine you're in the ambulance and you're on the way to the hospital and they don't look like they're doing so well. What do you say to them when they look up at you and they have those eyes that look like they're asking, am I going to make it? What do you say? Do you say to them, it's not looking good. You're probably not going to make it to the hospital. I would be surprised if you survive this. Would you say something like that? Or do you think you'd be more inclined, even though it may not be true, do you think you'd be more inclined to say something comforting, such as, it's going to be okay, hang in there, you're going to make it, we're going to get through this? Well, studies have shown just thinking positively like this actually decreases recovery time, increases a person's chance of recovery. Just thinking positive increases their chance of recovery. As we talked about the placebo effect, when people thought that they had surgery on their knee, they felt truly like their knee felt better, and their knee probably did feel better. They probably healed in many ways, in many cases. But what facilitates the healing is the positive thinking. So when you're with a loved one, you don't give them the, you're not going to make it, it's not looking good for you, your life is over, this is the worst thing that could possibly happen to you. So if you have that love for them, then you need to learn to give that love to yourself. Your responsibility is to care for the self, meaning your mental and emotional well-being needs to be cared for. So you need to speak to yourself like you are someone you love. And you don't say to someone you love something negative or detrimental. You give them only what is beneficial. So even if something is beneficial, it supersedes the level of accuracy, because if it's beneficial, it's still good for us, right? So we always try to go for what's true and what's accurate. But even if we have to supersede that a little bit with what's beneficial, that's what you want to tell yourself. Does that make sense? So a man who hasn't gotten into college yet, telling himself, I'm capable, I'm worthy, I am a college student, I'm a university graduate. Him saying that to himself, it's not that he really is delusional, but he's cultivating the positive delusion so that he can have a beneficial mindset. And that's going to help him to actually get into school and to be able to do well. Whereas someone who's too locked in to what they perceive to be reality, they think that they're being honest when they say, well, I haven't made it yet. Well, I don't really know if I'll get into school. But what they're really doing is focusing on the negative, focusing on the lack, focusing on what they don't have, focusing on the loss. And wherever you focus the mind, that's what will grow because the power of the mind has the ability to expand things. That's the way you're designed. You're very powerful. So if you keep staring at something, mentally speaking, then it expands that. So if there's a problem in your life and you keep thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it, that problem gets bigger. Eventually, that problem will cause other domino effect problems, right? Ripple effect to other issues in your life because you're focusing the power of the mind on that problem. So, what we're learning about today is how to focus the power of the mind beneficially. This is going to be focusing on what we have, focusing on what we can do. That's personal power. Focusing on what you can do, what is in your ability to control, because there's always something. There's always something that is in your ability to control. Focusing on the best possible outcome. Hey, how could this all possibly work to the best? So you go into your conversations like a marital conversation or a work conversation and you're thinking about the best possible outcome. And that allows you to mitigate that anxiety, right? Um, so, um, in terms of manifestation, this idea that you can make things come to fruition by focusing your mind on it, that in itself as a concept is correct. The basis of manifestation is incorrect, which is a new age way of thinking, which is your entire reality, everything that happens is your fault. That is not correct because there are other people in the universe, other beings in the universe that can affect you. So I can be going along and someone could decide to punch me in the face. In fact, one day I was literally jogging and this was in LA. There's a lot of homeless people that live on the streets in LA. And this person who was apparently living there on the street, he didn't look very physically clean. Well, he spits and his spit hit me right in the face as I was jogging by. Now, what did I do wrong? I was just going for a run. You understand? I was trying to be healthy, and now I have the opposite of health plastered against my face. Did I manifest that? Of course not. Everything that happens to you is not what you manifest. But everything you focus the power of the mind on will grow and expand. Everything you focus your mind on will grow and expand. So stop focusing on the poverty. Stop focusing on the loss of the spouse, the loss of the child. Stop focusing on the loss of the parent, the loss of the job, the loss of the opportunity, the loss of the reputation. Stop focusing on that because then that expands and it starts taking over other things. And you've seen it happen. Someone goes through a tragedy and they can't get over the tragedy. And then what happens? They lose their spouse. Why? Well, their spouse says, how could I stay? They couldn't get over the tragedy. Other people have gone through the tragedy, but they focus on what they still have. Well, I still have this marriage. I'm going to focus on my marriage. And then what happens? They keep their spouse. Why? The spouse says, well, I couldn't leave them after they've gone through that tragedy. You see the difference? Where you focus the power of the mind, that's what expands. So beneficial mindset is focusing the power of the mind on what will ultimately be to your benefit. The basis of what's actually beneficial versus detrimental hinges on the axis of your purpose. What I just said there was that you have to have goals. You have to have goals. If you don't have goals, then you don't know what's beneficial for you. You're aimless. So get your goals aligned. What do you want to do? What are you working on? Instead of purpose, I want to shift my vernacular here to a project because something you will notice about me, well, you won't notice it about me, but I'll tell you, I always have a project that I'm working on. Always a project that I'm working on, something that I'm doing that I'm convinced that when I'm done with this project, it's going to save the world, or it's going to change my life, or change someone else's life, or it's going to help someone, something that feels monumental to me, something that brings me aligned with my purpose, with my creator, something that seems worthwhile to me. I've always got some big project that I'm working on, right? And then I don't share that project with anyone except for the other people who are working with me on that project. Why don't I share? Right? Well, because if I share with other people, then their negative thoughts could come in and interrupt my mental paradise that I'm cultivating here. Right. So when I'm starting with a project at the very beginning, it's in its chrysalis stage. So you don't want to share that with others unless they're involved in the project and they're needed for the project. So there is no, oh, hey, I was thinking about applying to school. Bah, don't tell people that. Don't try to look for validation from the outside. Hey, just wanted to see what you thought about, I have some really big dreams. Okay, you want to talk about it. You don't want to be about it. That's what that is. You want to talk about it. You don't really want to get something done. So I am always working on a project and you will never know what it is until it's done. And then bam, what do? I come out and I'm go, hey everyone, my book is done. Go to Amazon.com and go get the book. And I'm already working on another project. And then when it's done, then you find out. And I go, hey everyone, I got a new app. I've been working for the last year, stressing myself out with an entire team of programmers, and I have no idea what I'm doing and trying to do this. But we finally got it done with much blood and sweat, and the app is free and it's available on iPhone and Android. Go ahead and download it. You understand how this works? When I wanted to start this group, I said, "Oh, I want to start this group, and I want to be able to reach out to trauma survivors." I didn't tell people. I didn't talk about it. I focused on the dream in my brain, and then I went on Meetup.com. I opened up a Meetup.com account, and I opened up a Zoom account, and then I started holding meetings with just me and no other person. And I've told you guys this story, right? One time, one woman came. She was a trauma survivor. She came to my meeting. She was the only person in attendance. I can only imagine how uncomfortable she felt because I don't think I've ever seen her again unless she's come in later and I didn't know. Just her and I. Imagine. And I gave a talk too, just like I'm doing right now, to one person. Just imagine. All right. So how do we get through the difficulties of getting a project going? Cultivating beneficial mindset. What must have been in my mind in going through that besides, oh my God, this person probably feels so uncomfortable? What must have been in my mind? I'm 85% in the positive. What's the most beneficial outcome? Maybe I could be helping her. Maybe this is really beneficial. Maybe this is what she was looking for. Maybe this is really going to be, maybe she's going to be the start to my new group. Maybe we're gonna grow. I envision, I believe that this is going to be something where a lot of people are going to tune in. I believe that it's possible, right? And I'm going beneficial mindset, right? So one of the things that tests our ability to have the beneficial mindset is when there's difficulties, there's problems, there's obstacles that come in our way. So I'm going to help you today to cultivate beneficial mindset because we're going to work as a group on how to overcome these problems just using the power of our thinking. When you have emotional mental health issues, you can feel overwhelmed by stress and anxiety. When you get overwhelmed, what's happening there is you're not allowing the subconscious mind to feel relieved of the burden of having to keep track of all of the things that you're concerned about. And so your subconscious mind, i.e., the brain, is just giving you stress signals to your body saying, hey, 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 I feel like this is a lot. Anytime you feel overwhelmed, you can immediately make it go away by just taking a pen and paper and making a list of all the things that are important to you that need to get done. Go to the top of the list or throughout the list and circle number one, number two, number three most important things. And then circle the thing you're going to work on right now, which is going to be number one. And then you're not in overwhelm anymore. Make a list, prioritize the list, get to work on number one. That's all you got to do when you feel overwhelmed. Is it that simple? Yes. Yes, our brains are machines. They're computers, it's hardware. There's a certain way that this stuff works. And so I'm telling you how to use the operating system. Your mind can only juggle so much big stuff on its own. You got to get out the pen and paper. You have to make a list. You have to externalize some of these thoughts so that it sees you're handling it and it stops giving you the stress signals of overwhelm. Okay. But that is beneficial mindset. The thinking is, I can fix this. I can handle this. I can overcome this. I can make a list, right? I can watch one of the healing videos that Roman or someone else is putting out. That's beneficial mindset. What's detrimental mindset when you feel overwhelmed and stressed? I can't. I can't take it. I can't handle it. I'm not going to make it. I'm too tired. I'm too exhausted, right? And you keep putting yourself into like this detrimental mindset. Where is that going to bring you? Nowhere good. Put you in a hospital bed, put you on medications. Nowhere good. Make you lose your relationships, make you lose your confidence. Nowhere good. Nothing good's going to come of that. So the thinking is the fork in the road where you have the control to decide which road you're going to go down. Death and destruction or a life in construction. Let's do another example. You're struggling with negative self-talk, low self-esteem, negative self-talk. What does that sound like? Some of you know. I'm so stupid. I'm an idiot. I'm dumb. I'm never going to be able to, right? No one likes me. Yeah, because I'm ugly. Yeah, because I'm, right? And just tearing yourself down. Rule of thumb, talk to yourself like you would talk to someone you love. Talk to yourself like you're in your brain when no one can hear you. The way you're supposed to talk to yourself is the way you would talk to like a child that you're building up. The way that you talk to a child that you're building up. What is that going to sound like? Beneficial mindset. You can handle this. You can do this. You can overcome this. You've handled problems before. I trust you. I believe in you. You can do anything you put your mind to. You're capable. That's positive self-talk. That's beneficial mindset. Does that make sense? We're feeling loneliness, isolation, detrimental mindset is what? You come home, there's no one there, or maybe there are people there, but you still feel lonely. So, what is detrimental mindset? What are your thoughts when you're detrimental? I have no one. I'm by myself. I'm alone, and that's not okay. There's something wrong with me. Why doesn't anyone want to be with me? Why haven't I found someone yet? Clearly I'm not worthy. Clearly I'm not capable. I'm always alone. Every person hates me. Everybody hates Roman, right? That's detrimental thinking. So how do we do beneficial thinking when you're alone or you're suffering from a feeling of loneliness? You go, oh, you know what? I feel this sensation, like a negative sensation, but I don't know why I'm feeling that. Okay, maybe that's loneliness. Maybe I'm alone. Okay, now I'm observing my thoughts. That's mindfulness. Now check the beneficial talk. Well, what's good about being alone right now? Nobody's watching me. Nobody's judging me. I am free. I'm totally free to walk around the house in any state of dress or undress that I feel comfortable in, right? I can work on whatever project, whatever purpose that I set my heart on, I put my mind to. I can get closer to God. I can deepen my spirituality. I can pray more. I can do the things that are beneficial to myself. I can work on a surprise for another person. Being alone is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. That's why we seek it out at times. Being alone gives us our privacy. But if we don't frame it that way, then we lose sight of that and we think that it's a bad thing, right? Beneficial mindset. Okay, now it's your turn. I'll give you the problem and you give me the beneficial way of thinking. So get your typing hands ready. Okay. I want your full participation. If you're inside the TikTok, go ahead and use the comments. Here comes the problem. You tell me what the beneficial way of thinking would be. I have a physical health problem that gives me chronic pain and discomfort. Go. What's beneficial mindset? I have a physical health problem that gives me chronic pain and discomfort. You're alive. Very good. I'm alive. This will pass. Very good. Focusing on it being temporary. I have an excuse to rest. Excellent, guys. Excellent. I'm going to take it one day at a time. Excellent. Focus just on right here, right now. I can still pray. Excellent. Excellent. I can rest when needed without people judging me. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Very good. You guys did really good on that. I'm actually shocked how well you did. I gave you a hard one. I gave you a hard one. That was really good. Okay. What I wrote down is focusing on what I can do. Focusing on what I can do, right? So you have that chronic pain, but if you focus on what you don't have and everything that's going wrong, you're going to magnify that pain. If you focus on what you can do, you get a moment of relief. Haven't you ever had pain or discomfort, but once you got engrossed in a good show or a game or a project, there was a moment where you forgot. So we focus on what we can do. Excellent. Let me give you another problem. Let's say you're having a miscommunication with family or friends. What's beneficial mindset? You're having a miscommunication with family, friends. Okay, maybe I'll try again later. Beneficial. I can pray for them. Beneficial. Room to clarify with a question. Yes, beneficial. Beneficial. Things will work out. Yes, beneficial. I'm glad to see them for what they are so I can protect myself. Absolutely beneficial. Peace gives me the opportunity to practice communication. Relina, that's exactly what I was thinking. It's an opportunity, right? Okay, now I have an opportunity to practice my skills of assertiveness, my skills of evading an argument, right? Beneficial, my conflict handling, conflict resolution skills. Excellent. That's beneficial thinking. Good. We've overcome many tough times. Excellent. I seek their perspective. I respect their perspective. I respect their perspective. I'm glad to hear that they feel free to express themselves to me. Very good. Excellent job, guys. Let me give you another one. You're having difficulty budgeting or managing expenses. Difficulty budgeting or managing expensive expenses. What's beneficial thinking on this? At least I have money to manage. Clever, clever. Use envelopes to control spending, reassess finances, create a needs versus trends table, learning experience. Absolutely. Making a budget, putting money aside to save. Yeah. It's focusing on what we can do. What can I do? Maybe I can't pay all these bills, but maybe I can pay one, and I'll be grateful that I can pay one of them. Right. Having an abundance mindset. Yes, I have money right now. It will grow. I have a job right now. It'll grow. I have a business right now. It'll grow. Yeah. Um, it could help us to simplify. Oh, let me cut down on excesses and focus on what I truly need. So those who mentioned, like Charlotte, what you truly need. Excellent. Help me to plan more cautiously. Very good. Very good. There will be more soon. We're taking it one day at a time, right? This is a temporary problem. When we deal with finances, we don't want to become too overwhelmed. The best thing about finances that I love about financial problems, it's temporary. It's not as bad as chronic illness, right? We'll take the financial problem over the chronic illness anytime, over death anytime. So right? It's like, all right, it's just a financial problem. Great, great. Because I can overcome this. Maybe it'll take a year or two, but I can overcome a financial problem, right? Very good. Let me give you guys another one. You're doing great. I'm going to give you a little bit of a harder one. because I can see that you've already started to build up these skills. So we want to keep building them. Let me see what I got for you. Let's say we're having trouble letting go of our past regrets and mistakes. We're having trouble letting go of our past regrets and mistakes. What are some beneficial ways that we can think when it comes to our past regrets and mistakes? Look at where we are now. Look at how we've grown. Absolutely. Absolutely. Focusing on growth, focusing on where we are now. That's very good. I'll try to see them in a humorous light. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Learning and growing. It's in the past, very important. Differentiating the time is super important for the brain to feel healthy. We say that's not happening now, though. The past regrets and mistakes are in the past. That's not what's happening now. Now I have knowledge and experience and resources that was limited back then. We did the best we could. That's very important framing. Very important framing. We did the best we could back then. Back then, I've evolved a ton. Yes. Focusing on the changes. Yes. I did the best I could at the time. Absolutely. This is an opportunity for me to give myself compassion. Yes. Learning from the mistakes. Yes. Forgiving the self. Yes. Excellent. Focusing on the lessons learned. You guys did fantastic with this exercise. I mean, you just blew it out of the water. If you were one in the background and I didn't see you, but you were struggling a little bit with this, go to YouTube. Watch my videos on positive thinking. Enroll in the healing course if you're able to. Enroll in the healing course. It's going to help you to think more positive. The book has got specific examples. So you can go through and you put your little piece of paper over my example, and then you practice coming up with your example, and then you move the piece of paper down, and you can see how I processed it into a positive thinking. Why are we doing this? We're building neural pathways. That's why we're doing this. This is an exercise to change your life. You need to become good at this, right? So as we go through, it's like a game that we're playing. It's like, oh, let me try, let me try. And it's fun. And that's how you should do it. You should do exercises like this all the time. But you're creating the ability for your brain to process problems differently. Some of the things you guys said was genius, and we're sharing these. Okay. One of the things that stood out, someone talked about humor. Learning to process the things that happen to you with humor is beneficial thinking. Because if you look at things, you will be surprised how many things are actually kind of funny. You should laugh, right? Some of us have developed the coping mechanism of crying. Right away, we default to cry. Okay. Sometimes it's appropriate. But you know what's more powerful that keeps you in your state of power? Laughter. It's healthy. It releases endorphins. Good for the abs. But also, the person in the room who's perceived by others as the most powerful is the one who is the most playful. So when you can handle problems with a sense of humor, others look to you now as being powerful or look at you as being confident, which is going to increase your aura around these other people, which is a very helpful tip as well, right? So when you can, at work, there's a problem, comes across your desk, instead of dissolving into tears, making a joke, very powerful. Just laughing at it, very powerful. People are very surprised when they see your strength. Like, wow, he just laughed. I just gave him bad news and he laughed. That was really good. And it makes them change their disposition as well. Another genius thing that was brought up by many of you today, focusing on the now and recognizing what's in the past. Very often, clients call and they're like, I'm really upset, blah, 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 blah. 80% of the time, what they're talking about is something in the past. Sometimes we're upset, even anxious about something that already happened. It's kind of ironic when we think about it, isn't it? Almost funny. We can laugh at that because I feel scared right now, but the thing already happened. right? The guy comes, woof, slaps me across the face and runs off into an alley. And I go, oh my God. And now I have anxiety, but the thing already happened. It's too late to be scared now. He's gone, right? A lot of our issues and the things we're really caught up in are in the past. So we have to remind ourselves this is now. That's what happened then. Very good. Very good. And always build yourself up. We have this really good meditation. It's on my TikTok page. And I definitely recommend you listen to it if you haven't already, but it's the one where we go back to the childhood home and we rescue ourselves as a child from that home. Oh, it's so powerful. And I want you to picture you always have that child with you. Please take care of that child, build him up, commend her, compliment her, and protect her, advocate for her. I'm really proud of you guys. You're doing great work. I'm hoping to be able to work individually with everyone who's on the call today. So book your session. You get a free session with me if you're enrolled in healing school. So definitely get enrolled in that.